Probably the most common question that I get asked on this YouTube channel is, should I buy the Surface Duo or should I buy the Galaxy Z Fold 2? And that's been a question that's been really difficult to impossible for me to answer because I just don't have the hands-on experience with that particular phone, the Z Fold 2. I've spent a lot of time with the Surface Duo, obviously, but the Z Fold 2 is not something that I have had. I've always said, you know, look, they're two different kind of things. They're aiming at two different sorts of things. But I think that there is enough crossover there. The Venn diagram crosses over enough, and the questions have been numerous enough. And then you couple in my experience with Duo as of late, which has been unsatisfactory to say the least. And well, that leads you to this. What is in here is the Galaxy Z Fold 2. It was just delivered. I'm going to unbox it now in front of you guys, and there will be many, many in-depth videos coming comparing everything about these two devices, in particular productivity, multitasking, and things like that, as I think that is a niche that not many people have covered. No one's really covered the Z Fold like I've covered the Duo, and I think enough of you guys want to know the answers to these sorts of questions, so I'm going to answer them. But first things first, let's unbox this thing. All right, so the first impression here, it feels rather hefty. And this has obviously got more than just a phone in there, but that is quite a hefty package. But it looks nice. All right, so here is this unboxing experience. You've got a couple of little plastic things to cut through there, and I believe, yeah, that should just slide out. And there's a weird little cutout here in the middle, which kind of reveals the little wings there. Kind of a strange look there, but it is what it is. And then from there, I presume this just opens up like that. Quite nice. Change the shape of the future. It's even embossed. Very premium experience. Let's take this guy out, set it aside. Now we have a Samsung box here, a little tab you can get a hold of. Is anything actually in this? Looks like your documentation here, as well as a SIM ejector tool. Looks like this should pull out, and there is that SIM ejector tool, which I have about 1 million of. And there is the device itself. You've got a little pull tab to lift it up, and it is heavy. Wow, let's compare that to the Duo. It might actually be heavier than the Surface Duo. Strangely enough, did not actually expect that, but it feels very rigid, very premium. So let's peel this guy off here. Okay, and you obviously have this care guide here, basically just common sense stuff. This is a folding screen, so don't poke at it, don't do anything too stupid. This is it. And now one thing to keep in mind is there is a screen protector already on the folding screen. There is another screen protector pre-installed on the outer facing screen as well. And this thing is already an absolute fingerprint magnet. The camera bump is as thick as you've probably seen and heard. It is massive. Let's give this thing its first fold here. And it's rigid. It kind of requires a little bit of a push there. Very smooth. I can actually hear the screen kind of make a little noise, and I wonder if I can pick this up on the mic. Let's see. I'll be curious to see if that goes away or if that sticks around. Let's go ahead and fire the Z Fold up, and we're going to set this down here, and we're going to see what else is in the box. Another embossed bit of text there. Galaxy Z Premier Service. Okay, whatever that means. You have a fast charger here, as well as your USB-C to C charger, and that is it. So just immediately, let's kind of walk around the device here as we are beginning our setup process here. You've got two stereo speakers here, top and bottom. One there, obviously USB-C on the bottom as well. Very big, girthy hinge there as well. You've got a fingerprint scanner built into the power button, as well as your volume rockers here, and then you have that gigantic camera bump in the back. You've got a telephoto, a wide angle, and a standard camera. Up front, you do have that hole punch selfie camera, and then there's another hole punch selfie camera when you actually open the device up there on the inside. So now what I'm going to do, let's switch back over to the overhead, and we're going to quickly go through the setup process here on this Z Fold. And you can see here the size difference here with the Surface Duo next to it. You can see here immediately in this mode you get the split thumb keyboard. Let's see how that works. Obviously I'm not going to show you my Wi-Fi password, but you know, that works pretty well actually. Split thumb typing like that. This thing looks like it came with a low battery, so we're going to go ahead and plug it in as we're going here. So a couple of things I'm noticing very quickly is that this screen is picking up fingerprints and oil from your skin much more quickly than something like the Duo does, and I think that is largely because of the screen protector that is on here. But overall, typing is quite nice. The touchscreen feels fine. You can feel that dip right there in the middle where the hinge is, and in the right light you can see it, you know, relatively well. But when you're looking straight on it, it's really not there. Not as noticeable as I thought it would be. Go ahead and register a fingerprint here, which, like I said before, is on the side, very similar to the Duo, and it is lightning fast. This is immediately faster than what I've been experiencing on the Duo. Will be interesting to see if it actually unlocks faster, because the actual recognition was considerably faster than on the Duo. And there we are. We are now on the home screen, and you can see what I mean about that, about the crease down the middle. That, you know, when I turn the lighting, you can see it straight on. You really can't notice it. And you can get a good idea again of the size of the screens here and what kind of experience you're going to be dealing with one to the other. Let's open up the Play Store, and obviously that opened up very quickly. And then let's go to our multitasking view, and we're going to open in split screen view. We'll just open the messaging app, and you get an idea there of what you're dealing with there. So let's go ahead and do the same on the Duo. You can get a sense here of the size difference and the aspect ratio difference. Well, if you touch here in the middle, you can switch it to be in this orientation, which is more similar. Let's switch them around because they are different in that regard. But you get an idea there. Obviously, this is much more narrow, and I've heard a lot of you guys say, well, much more narrow, much less usable. Well, one thing that I think a lot of people forget that you can do is you can rotate it. And at that point, I mean, it's smaller. It is smaller, but is it a ton smaller? Not really. And I'm going to have to get used to, you know, how big of a difference is this from this? This is obviously bigger. I'm not going to argue that it's not. That's not probably going to be better to multitask on. But the question I have is, how close is this going to be to replicating that experience? Because we know that in many other experiences, this thing is going to be far superior to the Duo when we're talking about photography, when we're talking about video consumption, things like that. So if this thing can get close to this in this aspect ratio, turn this way, then it's going to be interesting. It will be interesting to see how this works. I talked about the fingerprint scanner a minute ago, where I talked about how quickly it was registering the fingerprint. This is how fast it actually will unlock. It's pretty fast. And obviously we would be remiss to not talk about this exterior screen. I mean, just look at the difference between those two displays in terms of what's going to be on screen. I think in phone mode, that's a pretty big disparity. And I've really, really enjoyed this bigger, wider aspect ratio. And this is not just a less wide aspect ratio, it is a crazy narrow aspect ratio. So that's going to be definitely an adjustment for me to get used to, because we'll just look at it. I think that this thing is going to be probably fine for, you know, quickly, you know, checking something out, responding to a text message or something like that, maybe even taking a photo. But when you actually want to get something done, you're going to want to open the thing up. So guys, I've got a lot to do with the Z Fold 2 over the next few days and few weeks even. Like I said, I'll be posting an absolute ton of coverage giving my thoughts on the comparison between these two devices here, these two devices that are often compared, often asked which one is better. Well, I'm going to do my best to answer that question as best I can in the coming days and weeks. If you have anything you want to know specifically, you want to see specifically compared between these two, please do let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to cover them. So guys, do stay tuned in for that upcoming coverage. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.